What's going on, everybody? Live from Fenwick Island this week, it is the Dom and Pop DC Sports Talk Plus podcast. This week, we're going to be getting into all things tropical vibes, beach talks, as well as the Commanders training camp, checking in on the NFL. Wasn't ready to do an intro, man.
Do it however you want to do it. If you don't want to do an intro, don't do an intro.
All right,
It's fine.
you put me through all that pain. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing this week? We're back. It's tropical vibes this week. Fenwick Island. We're here in person. How you feeling, Pop? How you feeling?
Feeling good, looking good in your training camp hat there, son.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, we had to match. We got matching training camp hats. Just really, trying to protect ourselves from the sun as we're out here, soaking in all the good, all the tropical vibes. I'm
Out
hoping-
here representing the boys.
For sure, yeah. So you guys are enjoying the view from our beautiful balcony here in Fenwick Island. Got a little bit of the bay going on behind us. It's gorgeous. And you know what, Pop? You know what goes great with a nice tropical vibe is a good drink. So what you got in that cup there, man? What you got there?
This is my go juice.
That's your go juice?
That's
Hey,
my
you know
go
what?
juice.
Pop, cheers. Cheers.
Just
So-
lemonade for the kids at home. Just lemonade.
Of course, just lemonade, nothing else. But yeah, so without further ado, what do you say we get into it for this week, Pop?
We need to do it. We need to do it.
Yeah, I think we got to make it happen. So, first things first, man. We got to do a little self-kikotsing. We got to check in with ourselves. We got to clear a few things up. So, quick kikots to ourselves. We actually named the wrong journalist last week who predicted us. So we want to give an apology to Jeremy Brenner. I know I tore you a new one in the last week's pod. So if you didn't hear it, go check out last week. And then my apologies is to Jeremy Brenner. He was just reporting. I believe he was reporting another reporter who had said it basically.
Adam Rank deserved the kikots.
Yeah, so
We incorrectly gave the kikots to Jeremy Renner. Although Jeremy Renner did post the story. So maybe a little bit.
yeah, but you don't want
3
to.
and 14 prediction of the Commanders is what we're referring
You don't
to.
want to shoot the messenger. It's never a
Right.
good thing to do. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take my kikots to Jeremy Brenner. I'm gonna redirect it to this kind Adam fellow there, and I'm gonna take 0.25% of the kikots, and I'm just gonna sprinkle it right back on ourselves because that was it was our bad.
Bit of a mistake.
It was
there.
our bad. Bit of a mistake there. So now that we got that out of the way, we can enjoy it. Speaking of getting things out of the way, man, Pop, long ride down here. We're chilling. OC, want to give a quick shout out to Harpoon Hannah's.
They came through big time.
Oh, my God. Saved our culo.
Harpoon Hannah's. If you want to throw a little advertising cash at Dom and Pop show, we're not gonna complain.
Hey, for now, we can do the free shout outs, right? But
Right.
I don't think it's going to last much longer.
That's right.
Because we've been building momentum, man.
Serious
Have you
momentum.
seen the views?
Best week ever. Last
Doing pretty
week.
good. Doing pretty good out here. We're doing good. So we just want to thank everybody for listening. Everybody who's moved over from Spotify to YouTube, checking out our YouTube channel. We want to thank you. Everybody who, especially the handful of y'all that are watching on YouTube and Spotify. I know there's a few of you guys. You get in the car,
Keep
you put
it
it on
rolling,
Spotify. Then you get home, you pop us up on the big screen, 4K, YouTube. Keep it rolling. Please, guys, continue to like, subscribe, enjoy all that good stuff related to Dom and Pop. We got a ton of content coming this week because you know what? We're in person, so we can film, we can check it out, mess around.
I want to let
Plenty of
all
good stuff.
potential advertisers out there know we're open for business.
Yes.
We're talking Manscaped, Blue Chew, the Live Tour. We're open for business. We'll do advertising for anyone.
Yep, and you know what?
Well, not anyone. We got standards, but
I mean, most people will definitely do some advertising. So tell you what, advertisers, if you're not sure whether or not Dom and Pop is the right fit for you, just go ahead and reach out. I'll give you a little. We're probably the right fit. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. So without further ado, let's talk a little sports. I think we kept the people waiting a little bit longer. So Commanders training camp finally opens. Football is back.
thank God.
Football is back, baby. And I mean, for us, football never really ends. But I think for most people, it's almost like Memorial Day weekend is the start of the summer. Training camp, the start of football. Things are heating up. I think Jahan Dotson's headed to the Hall of Fame.
He might be.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
might be.
For you, go ahead and clip that, put that all over Twitter. I'm super pumped on that. Jahan Dotson looks like a beast. Pop, you got any thoughts? What do you want to get into on training camp?
Well, I think we got some news and notes to hit from, so we'll take through a little bit. So we did get the announcement of the PUP list. Dominic had a little bit of a panic moment. He said, "Oh my God, the PUP list! Chase Young, he's going to be out automatically for 4 games." Didn't quite know the PUP list rules, but
Not quite how that
he
works.
was educated by Pop that you can come off the PUP list at any time during training camp. If you start the season on PUP or injured reserve, then you got to sit out 4 games. But yeah, Chase Young, Logan Thomas, Tyler Larson, Chase Roulier, who's already come off the PUP list, so that's good. And so yeah, I mean, a few guys I think that we expected an injury list, but I think looking at that list, the headline is definitely Chase Young. There is an expectation that Chase Young will not be available for the first game of the season. Not quite sure whether he'll go on IR or whether he'll just sit out the first couple of games. But one thought I had was like, what's a realistic expectation for Chase Young this season, knowing that he's kind of not going to necessarily be 100% to start the year?
You know, it's a tough thing to scale, just because I think when Chase came in his rookie season, he didn't really start making that kind of impact that we now associate with Chase Young, kind of until the second half of the year, right? He had to kind of get his sea legs under him a little bit, and of course he's a great player, but you start seeing like that the fumble recovery against the 49ers that he ran back for the touchdown, those kinds of plays he was kind of making towards the end of the year. So kind of a small sample size of Chase Young greatness so far. So it's kind of hard to pick, but I don't know numbers-wise. Sacks are kind of fluky. It's kind of a right place, right time kind of thing. So I don't want to put a number on it, but I think if we can start to see Chase by the end of the year kind of get back to the dominance that he was showing at the end of his rookie year, I'd be real happy with that. And I just want to kind of see that he's headed in the right direction. I don't care if it takes him 6 weeks to get there. I'd be fine if they put him on IR, frankly. But I just want to see that the Chase Young that we saw against Nick Mullins and Ben DiNucci, I want to see him be that against good top-level quarterback play, and I really want to see him kind of get back to those dominant ways. What about you, Pop?
I think it's a great take. I think you nailed it. I mean, I think we just need to see him. I'd be happy if we just saw some flash plays and we saw him, have a couple of really great games. Like you said, even if it's towards the end of the season and we start seeing peak. And, it was good to hear Ron Rivera interview on the Junkies, and he talked a little bit about Chase and said that he was trying to incorporate some other things in his game, stutter steps, spin moves, things like that. And really what he is a power rusher. Yep. And he's getting back to what he is good at, and it seems like he's realized and he's making those adjustments. But I think we need to remain realistic, right? He's not going to be 100% to start the season, even when he is available for games. He's probably going to be on a bit of a pitch count early on.
Yeah.
And, we're going to have to stay realistic. But if we could see that flash and if we could see him come on strong at the end of the season, I'd be really happy with that for sure.
Definitely, yeah. I'm totally cool with the pitch count. I'm cool with all that. It's nice that Rivera has kind of acknowledged in those press conferences kind of the things that some of the fans picked up on. Like, he's working on this stutter step, weird kind of move that he wasn't really getting done what we expected him to get done for the first half of the year. So I want to see somewhere of a happy medium, I guess, between where he was at the first half of last year and where he was at the last half of 2020. And I think the most important thing about Chase Young, I want to see the defense as a whole improve, and I want to see them improve around Chase Young as that leader. That's number one for me. If the whole defense is playing great, Chase isn't getting those flash plays, but they're all looking to Chase as that leader, as that guy. He's kind of the cog in the wheel. That, for me, that's good enough. I'm happy with that. But, of course, I figure if the defense is playing great, it's probably because Chase Young is playing great because he's the most talented guy on the defense.
Yeah, good take. Now, another point, right? So we go through these and kind of rapid fire. Bunch of year 2 guys, not just rookies, but year 2 as Commanders or Washington football team players, right?
Yep.
So we got De'Ame Brown, Jamin Davis, William Jackson III, And of course, Curtis Samuel, right? Who's again seemed to be cautious with him. He's getting some rest days, but a bunch of year 2 guys that are pretty important to this team. What's your take on these year 2 guys, and what are your expectations for those 4?
Man, it's tough. When you look at going into the 2021 season, we had needs.
And go juice.
Yeah, please, juice up. But we felt like we kind of addressed all of the needs that we had going into the 2021 season, right? We felt good about it.
Right.
And then everybody kind of underperformed as a whole. All those guys that you just named, I mean, De'Ami Brown was in witness protection for part of the year last year. I mean,
I think Jamin Davis was his roommate.
Yeah, him and Jamin were just sipping goat juice and witness protection together, you know?
Yeah.
William Jackson III, he kind of made some comments about he felt like he had kind of come into his own. And I think it was the San Francisco game last year. Or I can't quite remember, but never mind. I don't think we played San Francisco last year. I got that wrong. But he felt like about halfway through it was Tampa, excuse me. 2 red and white teams. I got
You
him
were close.
I got him twisted
one's
up.
In the southeastern part of the USA, the other
They
one's
both
in the
got-
northwestern part, but I mean, you were tight.
They both got white jerseys with red numbers, so it got flipped in my head when I was looking at that, you know?
I didn't know you were one of those people that identified NFL teams by
I've been out
the
in
color of their jerseys.
I've been out in the sun all day. I'm feeling kind of tropical. All right.
The go juice is getting to your head.
It's just lemonade, man. I don't know what you're talking about. But, yeah, he had said that in the Tampa game, some things clicked, and he kind of started to understand the way the defense was working a little bit better because, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about how William Jackson was more of a man corner, and then we kind of forced him into his own scheme.
Right.
So, for me, I think he's probably the number 1 guy out of those 4.
So I was going to ask you that. Out of those 4, who are you most optimistic about?
Oh, optimistic about not him.
So you got De'Ami, Jamin Davis, William Jackson, or Curtis Samuel. Who do you think has the best season out of those 4?
I say Curtis.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for the wild card here just because I think if you look at Curtis Samuel, I'm in fantasy football mode right now because we got some drafts coming up. So I'm all thinking about statistics. And in games where he's played 12 games or more, he's never been lower than like the wide receiver 24 in fantasy football. So it's essentially like he's a top 30 guy in the NFL. And I think that with Curtis's health and with the diversity that we've added and adding Jahan Dotson, who can do a lot as well and kind of play from all 3 positions as a receiver, with that, we add Curtis to that offense now. I think if he's healthy or even if he's not 100% healthy and we have to have him on more of a pitch count, I think we can get more performance out of him, even with limited amounts, because we're going to have some other weapons to kind of spread the field around. Wentz is going to be able to make throws that we haven't had quarterbacks that can make since Kirk, really. So, yeah, Curtis Samuel would be the guy I'm the most excited about.
I'm going to go with William
out of
Jackson.
that
I think William
lot.
Jackson, year 2, I think, the fact that those adjustments between Jack Del Rio and Ron Rivera, I think they realize what they have in a defense, how to optimize that defense, how to get the most out of William Jackson. I'd love it to be Curtis Samuel. If I had to pick one, who would I want it to be? It'd probably be Curtis.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with William Jackson. Hoping upon hope that De'Ami Brown and Jamin Davis step up this year. It's going to be a wait and see. There's been some flashes in camp so far that indicate that maybe they're on the rise, but it is camp. It's really hard to tell. I mean, if you had to pick your one top takeaway from camp so far, the news you've heard, what would you say it is? What is good or bad, but your top takeaway?
For me, it's Jahan Dotson. I mean, that's the obvious pick. It's the easy pick. But I'm feeling really good about Jahan Dotson. I just think I was very negative about the way that first round went, and I was kind of unable to see the big picture. And I think that when you look at the other guy that we were looking at picking, Jameson Williams, he's kind of more of he's an incredible talent, but he's more of a project because of his ACL. And we're not really in the position for that right now. We need somebody who's going to come in and produce. And I think Dotson, from some of the highlights we've seen in training camp, he's going to be able to come in and produce. And I'm just so excited because I feel like some of the highlights I've seen is stuff that, we love Taylor Heineke on the pod. We really appreciate his contributions over the last year. But it's stuff he's just not physically capable of doing. And Wentz
Right.
is throwing these balls around in practice like it's nothing off his back foot, even sometimes, which he'll probably make some stupid throws off his back foot too. But I'm definitely excited about Jahan Dotson. That's my number one takeaway, I'd say.
Now, I kind of want to go with my bold prediction from 2 weeks ago, especially when I open up the Commanders' website and the headline for today is Cole Turner has a standout day 4.
I like
a
it.
little bit of Cole Turner. But
I
I'm
like
going to
it.
say generally, like the thing that stands out for me so far is it really just feels like business as usual. You know, there's not a lot of drama. There's a lot of good things that we're hearing, with Carson, especially offensively. But then, it seems like the defense has had a couple of really good days too.
Yep.
I just really like the vibe that we're seeing so far. It seems like just a real football operation. And, I like the roster up and down. Still the biggest concerns are probably on D and, of course, see what Carson does. But I think just generally the professional nature and the vibe of things so far is what would be my key takeaway, generally speaking. Now, a few odds and sods, a few takes that happened this week. Dan Snyder did finally testify in front of Congress. Say he testified for 11 hours. He answered all the questions. He didn't. He did do it under oath. Didn't plead the fifth. We don't have a report. It seems like the standard deal there. There are never any reports that come out.
No.
So I guess it's going to be interesting to see when the report. Not a whole lot to say about that. I guess it's good that finally, he went ahead and testified. But we'll see what comes out of that. You got any thoughts on that, or not too much to say?
I don't care.
Yeah, AGG retires. Man, pretty short-lived career there. He was trying to make the conversion to tight end. Maybe saw a little bit of the writing on the wall at tight end room. Is suddenly a very deep group, one of our deeper groups. I was kind of rooting for him, hoping that would take. He seemed like his biggest accomplishment as a Washington football player. I hate to take a dig at him, was his Rubik's Cube's capability, but hope for the best for AGG. But probably the bigger news is Ryan Kerrigan retires.
Yeah, man. Well,
I mean, is Ryan Kerrigan the second best Washington Redskin of your lifetime? Because I know that third.
Three.
Okay.
London Fletcher.
Okay.
Probably
So
go
remind
Fletcher
the good people who your number one is.
Tress Way.
So he's still sticking to
Tress
Tress Way. Wow, I'm speechless.
Yes, sir.
So
Tress
you would
Way.
rate Tress over the all-time sack leader in Washington football history, Ryan Kerrigan.
Would I? No. But I've already committed to it, and I'm a man of my word. I'm sticking to it. Tress Way, number one, greatest commander of my lifetime.
Nothing else needs to be said. Nothing else needs to be said.
That's all I got.
Then get into a little bit thing here, a little bit of fun maybe, but Commanders did announce the new fight song, which is basically the old fight song with some lyric changes, and they gave two options, right? So essentially the song is exactly the same. Hail to the Commanders, hail victory. But the two options are fight for our Commanders or leaders on a mission, fight for old DC. So it's either fight for our Commanders or leaders on a mission. So first, real quick, which one do you like better?
Man, they should have hired me. This kind of, I don't really like either, to be honest with you. It's pretty weak. I go for
Do you have a better option?
leaders on a mission, I guess, is what I would go for right now. Or is that what you? The one that
I
doesn't.
like fight for our Commanders.
I don't like fight and then fight again. Fight
a
for our
little
Commanders.
awkward.
Fight for old DC.
It's a
It
little
feels
awkward.
lazy,
I just
man.
don't like leaders on a mission. But here's the thing. Let me give my take on this.
I don't
right?
know.
Being the old school guy here. There are still a lot of people hung up on the name change. I'm not going to get into all that. We've covered that already. But the team didn't have a choice. They had to change the name. That's an NFL decision. That was a decision from advertisers. Quite frankly, that's a decision that the country made, right? That it was no longer politically correct. And I know that's not all the country, so I shouldn't generalize there. But it had to change. Didn't matter who the owner was. It was forced on them, right?
Sponsors pull out money. You don't really have a lot of options.
And it's a fight song, people. It's a fight song. I really don't care that much. I think it's kind of cool. I'm not cynical. I think the team is just trying to connect the traditions to the new. I think they're genuinely trying to do that. I think it'll be cool hearing it. Jason Wright even said he doesn't care if people sing the old words. So he's not erasing that history, and I think that's a good thing. So I think it's cool they're bringing the fight song. I don't think whatever lyrics they picked, somebody was going to hate on it. I don't care that much. If I had to pick between the two, I'd go Fight for Our Commanders. But in my mind, it's a good thing, and I'm just going to stick with that.
There you go.
People complain about everything. That's it. So
that's a fact.
My take. I respect if your take is different, but I think I'm right. Anyway, I think that's it. I think in terms of like the odds and sides and the news, I mean, we didn't really spend much time on Ryan Kerrigan. What a great player.
Man.
What a great commander. What a great representative to your team. I think it was great that I'm using the word great a lot. Maybe it's the go juice. It's great that they brought him back for that one-day contract, and awesome that he wanted that to happen. And he
Definitely.
gave his press conference. So what's your thoughts on Ryan? I mean, that's your generation there.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan is... I'm trying to think. Maybe literally the only example in my lifetime of just the organization getting it right the whole way through. I wish we got to keep him around for his last year.
Agree.
But when you look at it at the end of the day, you look at like B. Mitch, one of our heroes, one of the greatest Redskins commanders of all time.
Art Monk left.
Didn't end his career with us.
Yep.
It is a business at the end of the day. And I think the fact that Ryan stayed here, played out his entire career, went a year in Philly, and obviously things ended amicably enough when he went to Philly that he wanted to come back and be with us and retire as a commander. Obviously, everybody brought him back with open arms. Great kid, just perfect example of the franchise did it right. And I hope, with this turn of guard and the new Jason Wright, Rivera, etc., I hope we can see a lot more guys that go down that path. But Ryan Kerrigan, man, probably the greatest, one of the greatest Redskins of my lifetime, without a doubt. And so all the respect to you. I hope you find a lot of joy and fulfillment in this next phase of your life, however you choose to spend
He said
that.
he wants to get into coaching.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. I hope he can come coach for us one day.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. All right, so I think that about covers it for Commanders training camp news.
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
I mean, real quick, I just want to add a short point. It's no excuses this year, and that's what I like about it. I think we said we were going to make a splash at quarterback. Regardless of whether or not you're happy about getting wet, we made a splash, right? Wentz was a splash. Nobody expected that. He's here.
And for those of you saying we should have held out, now saying we should have held out for Jimmy Garoppolo, kickouts.
There we go.
Early kickouts.
There we go. Early kickouts.
Not the official kickouts.
Not the official kickouts, but we're throwing a few extra kickouts around this week. We throw one to those people too. But I just think it's no excuses this year. We made the moves we wanted to make. We got the players. Guys are healthy. Let's see.
Well, so given the fun that we had last week, and the top 10 quarterback list, I thought it'd be good for us to do a bit more of another ranking segment.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to get into a little bit more of the NFL in general, and what we're going to do, and we're going to build on this. For today, we're just going to pick the division winners, right? And we're going to stick to it all season, right? We're going to pick who we think is going to win the division. What we'll do in a future pod is we'll add our playoff teams to that, our wild cards. We'll pick first-round winners. We'll pick who we think is going to make it, through each round of the playoffs all the way through the Super Bowl. We'll have that locked and loaded for the preseason. But in the meantime, rapid fire, I'll read off the teams for each division.
All right, good.
And you tell me who you think we're going to win. I'll tell you who I think is going to win. Quick explanation as to why. Again, rapid. We're going to save the NFC East for last. And we're going to give our ratings of the NFC East as well, so don't you worry.
All right.
AFC North. We got, we're starting off hot here.
Uh-oh.
Starting off hot.
Uh-oh.
We got Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers. Who you got, son?
Oh, man, that's tough. That division is really up for grabs. You got a lot of good teams, and even when you look at the consensus worst team, Pittsburgh, if they can address the quarterback thing, might be kind of legit. So I'm going to go quick here. I'm going to go Bengals. Made it to the Super Bowl last year. You guys know I love me some Joe Shiesty, and I can't hype up my Ravens fans too much. So Cincinnati there, but definitely, Ravens are right there with them.
So I'm not trying to win over our Ravens insider with this, but I do think it's a bounce back year for the Ravens. I think that they were, didn't have the best record in football at one point last year, and things started kind of falling apart.
They were very unhealthy.
Yeah,
they dealt with a lot of injuries last year.
I'm going to go Ravens. I think that we talked about it, what we think of Lamar. He did make both of our top 10 lists. I think he's got something to prove. I do think he'll sign a contract before the season starts. A little bit of news from our Raven insider there, but go with the Ravens. So AFC East, Buffalo, Dolphins, Patriots, and Jets.
This one's easy. Buffalo.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, AFC South. You got Houston. You got the Colts. You got Tennessee Titans, and you got Jacksonville Jaguars.
Division sucks. Tennessee for sure. Shout out my fantasy football
I
commissioner.
go Tennessee too. I can't go
Titans.
Colts after all the Wentz hates and Jim Irsay is a doucher. So
Agreed.
okay, AFC West got Broncos. Your boy Russ Wilson
Ooh-wee.
and the Broncos. Kansas City Chiefs. The Raiders. I almost said Oakland Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. And the Los Angeles Chargers. I almost said San Diego. So most confusing division goes to AFC West.
Without a doubt.
But who you got winning?
Oh, man, that one's so hard. I want to be a contrarian, but I'm going to just go with my gut there and say, oh, God, that's hard. Denver's the most complete team. I'm taking Denver. I'm taking Denver because they got a defense.
Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Enough said.
All
Son,
right.
the Russ Wilson love runs deep. NFC North. Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, and the Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh, I'm going to go.
Captain Kirk.
I'm taking Minnesota, eh?
Taking
I'm going Minnesota.
Okay.
I love Kevin O'Connell. We didn't have a podcast in the offseason.
This is a bit of a
him,
tough
but I
division,
love
right?
Kevin O'Connell.
Because you got Green Bay lost Devontae Adams. They were pretty dominant last year in that division. I'll go Green Bay.
All
I'll
right.
go Green Bay. All right. We're skipping NFC East for the moment. NFC South. Got Atlanta, Carolina Panthers, the Saints, Tampa Bay. I know who you're going with.
I mean, come on. It's Tampa
TB12.
Bay, baby. That's Tampa. Can you seriously
Yeah, I
make an
gotta
argument
go
where you're
Tampa
gonna go
Bay.
with Baker Mayfield?
I just wanted to look a little bit more deep, but I go Tampa.
Come on.
Yeah, sixth best quarterback in the NFL.
Kick outs.
NFC West. Got the Cardinals. Got the LA Rams. Got San Francisco. And we got Seattle, who we're going to get back to in a minute. We'll talk a little bit about Seattle Seahawks in a minute.
Yeah.
But who you got in the NFC West?
Man, I want to pick Arizona for my boy Kyler, but you can't pick against the Rams, right? That would be a stupid pick.
Got to go Rams.
Gotta go
I
Rams
agree.
there.
I mean, Frisco's pretty good, too.
Yeah, it's a tough division.
Depends
That's
on
almost
quarterback,
like
I guess.
the NFC version. That's
Yeah.
definitely the hardest division.
But I'll
in
go
the
Rams
NFC.
as well, defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
gotta go Rams.
Now that's where it gets juicy, son. We got to put the Paulinas on the line here. Okay?
Oh man, if the Paulinas are on the line, that might be a
Paulinas are on the
different
line.
answer.
NFC East. Don't need to say who the teams are. We're going to rank these teams. Go 4-1. Go 4-1. Who you got fourth, third, second, first in the NFC East? Here we go.
All right,
You did pick us to go 11-6.
that's a separate set of predictions here. 4 is easy, right? 4, you got to go the Giants.
Yeah. Sorry, Robert.
Sorry, Robert. Sorry to our cousins. Sorry to everybody in New York. I mean,
We got cousins in New York.
they got a case, but yeah, no, 4 is definitely the Giants. It's unproven right now, but we'll see. This is when it gets tricky, right? 3, 2, 1. It's tight. And it's hard to pick.
It's where you show some huevos, son.
Well, it's hard to pick with my head or with my heart when I got my Paulinas on the line. That's the tough decision to make. You said Paulinas on the line. It threw me off there.
They are? Got to stick by this pick all season.
I'm going to make a disclaimer in that I
No.
think...
Come on.
Not that spät. I think all three of these teams finish with winning records.
Wow. That's a bold prediction. I like it, though.
But
It means we got a winning record, so I'll take it. Hit me.
oh, it's killing me.
Hit me with your best shot. Son,
I go Philly 3. No, sorry, I go Dallas 3.
okay.
Dallas 3. I just don't believe the hype. Commanders 2, Philly 1.
Okay. I'm going to go Giants 4th. I'm going to go flip a coin. I'm not convinced all three have winning seasons. Somebody's going to be in that 7 and 10 range, maybe
Yeah.
8, 9 range.
I think Dallas finishes 9 and 8.
I don't believe the hype with Philly.
Don't like you some
Lot-
Jalen Hurts, no?
A lot of preseason. I like them, but I just kind of feel like there's
Nick
so much
Sirianni,
hype.
Another Paisan up there.
We're jumping the gun there. I'm going to say Philly's kind of that 8 and 9 team. I'm going to say we're going to go old school. Washington, Dallas, battle it out for the division win. I'm going to go Dallas 2nd, and I'm going to play with my boys. I'm going to roll with my boys. It's a homer pick.
All right.
I'm going to admit I'm
All
feeling
right.
good. Got the lemonade. I'm going Commanders 1st and Dallas 2nd, so that's what I'm sticking with.
Man.
Polina's on the line.
Hey, I respect it.
I'm
I
a
respect it. I want to pick the Commanders so bad, but everybody in the national media talking about Philly taking that next step, talking about the NFC East, we don't have repeat winners, so Dallas is out for that reason. Dallas 3 feels like a really bold pick there, but no, I like Philly this year, man. A.J. Brown, I believe.
All right.
I
Now a little
believe.
bit of show business, son. We've got, let's keep it rolling here.
course,
Stay on the
of course.
clock, but a little bit of show business. We've got to follow up on some stuff from last week.
All right,
So,
yeah, follow
You
up.
were hot at me because I had Russell Wilson 8th. I stick by it.
Insane pick.
Stick by it. Tom Brady 6th. Russell Wilson 8th.
Two
in the
insane
top
picks.
10 quarterback rankings. But you said Seattle is going to finish as a bottom 5 team in the NFL. I want to take that bet. $5 on the line. Will you take it?
I mean,
You staying by what you said last week because you were emphatic.
I'm basically betting whether or not Jimmy Garoppolo is going to go to Seattle with this $5 bet.
You said Jimmy G is a joke too, pretty much in our text messages. So
Well, I mean, if we're leaking confidential text messages here on the
that's
pod,
what we do. That's why this pod
it's
exists.
insane, man. I don't believe in Jimmy G. I don't believe in Seattle.
$5?
Put a little fiver on that.
I love it. I love it.
Put
I
a
love
fiver
it. I
on
love
Seattle
taking money
picking
from my boy. I give it right back to him.
Seattle bottom 5 team.
Okay, Kikats of the week.
Kickouts of the week.
Let's roll it.
Kickouts to me for closing my my outline on the phones. That's number 1. So our kickouts of the week. There's a few situations here. We're doing a little 3-part.
All right, we got
kickouts
our
of the
main
week.
Kickouts and a couple of honorable mentions.
Go
That's what
ahead,
we got.
drop the main one, Pop.
Really, it's the Kyler Murray contract situation. Again, another NFL news, right? The fact that they put in his contract, I mean, obviously, I think it was $160 million guaranteed. I think it was like a $230 million contract.
Something like that.
Something like that. But, the fact that he was mandated to do 4 hours of independent study.
Insane.
Right? And then the Cardinals had to walk back. A couple of kick-cots moments here. One, that they put that in the contract, right? 2, that Kyler Murray would be in a situation, or calamari, as your uncle would say, would be in a situation
D'Antonio.
that he needed that put in the contract. I think there were some quotes from Kyler Murray saying that he didn't need to study that much because he's a quick study and he learns stuff and he doesn't need to do it, right? But how does that leak? How does that information get out?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird.
I mean, it's such a gotcha moment.
it's a weird situation, man. Arizona, it's a weird ass organization over there. Like you just between like Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, there's always kind of something like this going on. I mean, I know I'm
True.
throwing stones in a glass house as a Commanders fan, right? But there's always something kind of weird going on down there. So, I mean, kickouts to whoever thought that was a good idea and thought that it wouldn't leak out because it's such a wacky clause. That's a free news story if it leaks out, right?
So I got a hypothetical for you.
All right, go ahead.
Hypothetical is, Mix house is going great. They just decide we can't lose Dominic, right? It's a hell of an engineer, hell of a producer. All true, by the way. Going to sign you to $160 million guaranteed, $230 million contract.
Over what, 5 years?
I think ish. Yeah. We should know these details a little bit more.
Let's call it 5 years.
Okay.
I'll do 5 years for those figures.
5 years, right? What contract clause would you be willing to accept, right? I mean,
I'll do 4 hours of film study a week.
watching what?
The tutorials, learning. I'll study up on some other engineers. 4 hours of independent study a week. I think I'd agree to that.
But like what else? Like think broader, right? Like what's something that
I don't know. I don't think I can put specifics out here I don't want future negotiations. I tamper with my ability to negotiate.
I think
here,
for me, this
4
is
hours of independent film study. I could do that.
This is a bit of inside baseball to the Tenaya family dynamic, but the stepdaughter and now she's converted her mom, my beautiful wife, into a just massive BTS fan. And they have this thing called BTS Tuesdays, best day of the week, according to the both of them. It hurts a little bit since I'm not involved, but I get it.
Hey, you get some time with the dog, catch up on the whiz.
I'd be willing to participate actively and happily in BTS Tuesdays for $160 million guaranteed.
I'll coordinate BTS Tuesdays. $160 million guaranteed?
I would do it.
Please.
I would do it with a smile on my face.
What's that, like 85?
I'd be part of the Army.
Taxes?
I'd be part of the Army.
I'll be there, man. I'll be there.
Honorable mention, Kikats of the Week, has to be the dude at training camp. Grown-ass man. Grown-ass man. Carson Wentz, if you haven't seen this, Scott Abraham, I believe, of ABC News 7, posted it on Twitter. Go look at Scott's coverage. He's got a lot of great coverage of camp. This grown-ass man, Carson, signing football's jerseys for these little kids, so cute, so awesome. Big smile on his face. Grown-ass man works his way to the front of the line. Ask Carson Wentz for his wedding ring.
This is an adult taxpayer, has the right to vote. I mean, I don't know whether or not he's a felon, but has the right to vote, and this guy asked another grown man for his wedding ring. It's
sorry to use the term that I wrote, but he's an adult in front of kids.
It's insane.
And he says, well, it's just a rubber ring, because sometimes the football players wear the rubber rings. And Carson looks at him and says, but it's mine. No, you can't have that. Still smiling. But, man, kick Cots, dude. Show some pride. And set some example for the kids.
Ridiculous, man. Just ridiculous.
And third, but definitely not least, beach traffic. Get Cots at the beach traffic. And Route 113.
Oh, my God.
And the Bay Bridge.
I didn't think we were getting out of there yesterday.
And the Bay Bridge.
Oh, it was horrible. We just sat and sat and sat.
Let's end this thing with a quick beach theme thing. Right?
I like it.
What are the top 3 favorite things about beach vacation for you?
Oh, man. That's tough. It's tough. Go Juice has got to be up there.
That's
right?
one.
Lemonade.
Quickly.
Lemonade, number 1. Number 2, I mean, it's a cop-out answer, but all the quality family time.
Yeah.
That's for me. I took it for granted living so close to here my whole life and then move away. Beach time is a great time to make some memories with the family. I feel like there's always a few moments we come out just dying laughing and always retelling the stories at Christmas.
Right.
Number 3's got to be the food, man.
Yeah.
We good this week. We eat good.
We got a
Lots of
Venezuelan
seafood.
night. We got an Italian night. Had a great, we covered it early, a great carry out from Harpoon Hannah's.
I mean, I ate about
bit of
55
Mackey's.
peel and eat shrimp last night. It's just, you can't beat it. Great seafood, great crab, so much good crab cakes. Shout out Crab Cake Factory. Yeah, food has got to be number 3 for me. Soft serve. This is a little Easter egg for what's coming on our social media this week. Soft serve ice cream.
Ice cream ratings.
Got to be the food number 3.
Coming to social media.
What about you, Pop? You got a top 3?
Those are perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect 3.
How do you beat
Definitely
it, right?
in there. The time with family and the week with my son is definitely there.
For sure.
Yeah. But, no. And, we didn't leave it out there, but honorable mention because it got a little bit, ran into some trouble there. The family bocce matches. Now, in case you ever question the competitive nature of the Dom and Pop pod, you would just We should video. Too bad we can't go back and video the family
was a
bocce
shame.
match. The
Got
family
serious.
bocce matches are actually suspended. They might be making a comeback this year because it almost broke the family up. It
due
was
to
that
some-
serious.
Some serious misconduct between one of the members of this podcast and our Ravens insider.
Yeah, it almost got physical. Thank God it didn't.
Detrimental misconduct. A few taunting penalties for sure.
I just couldn't take the ruler.
Boys were
The
chirping.
ruler.
The boys were chirping. And yeah, I mean, if you want to understand how serious this is, there was a ruler gifted to Christmas to one of the members of the family who always insists on measuring everything with bocce. You know, sometimes
he
it's
wasn't
about,
okay with the honor system.
sometimes it's about feeling. That ball feels a little bit closer to the
I'm with
Paulino.
you.
We're taking that
Accused us of cheating.
one. Unbelievable.
Unreal.
How
But
can
anyway,
we ever?
I don't want to get my blood going. Great
Take a
pod,
sip of the
son.
Go juice. Let's
Salud.
Hey,
Had a
For
blast.
sure.
The week's just starting off.
definitely.
We'll recap the week at the end. We'll be a little bit down, but in our next pod. But had a blast. Thanks for all the support. Don't forget to like. Please subscribe. Watch YouTube. Listen on Spotify. All the great stations.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for the support.
Yes, sir. Pop, couldn't have done it without you. Love you. Cheers.
Salud, salud.
Into another great week. All right.
One
that's a
take.
wrap.
How good are we?
Crushed it. No edits.